ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णा चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य कलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 47, and we are on verse number 67. Some part of commentary was left there. So in this verse it was said that karma bhira brahmamananam yatra kvapi ishwarechaya mangalacharitai ratirne Krishna Ishwara. This was spoken by Sri Nanda Maharaj to Uddhava when he was about to leave. He was already sitting in his chariot, and then in a very great humility he said that let our mind be fixed on Krishna, our speech talk about him, our body bows down to him. And then he says that wandering by our past karma, by will of Ishvara, wherever we are born, let we have love for Krishna. So that was the verse. So we spoke about the humility part, and then he says, Tadapi kasminchidapi bhavi janmani tasmin sati syaditi. So this is the last part, that while we're wandering in this material world, Trijagati, so in any form, wherever we are born, in whatever species, kasminchidapi kachidapi, tasmin syad matir syad rati syad. So our mind may be fixed on him, our rati, our attachment, our love be to Sri Krishna. Iti prarthayate dvabhyam. So in the two slokas, he prays for this. Manso vrittayo nashyuriti. So our vritti, what is vritti? Whatever is in the mind. 5 types of vritti. Praman, viparaya, vikalp, nidra, smriti, panchavrittaya. So all these vrittis, let they be in Krishna. Mansa vrittaya nashu. Not in anything else. Our vrittis are running here and there. So they say that our vrittis should be only in Krishna. Mahanurag mahavarta evayam. So he is explaining that how is that he is speaking like this. So he says that this is a big avarta, big wall, what you call whirlpool, inside the Mahanurag. That this is a big commotion in the intense love which they have for Krishna. Means there's so much love for him that they just forget everything else, that only Krishna. No matter where we are born, what we are, nothing else. Because we have to understand that all the bhavas, whether it is Vatsalya bhav or Madhurya bhav, their foundation is in Dasya. So when situation like this comes, as he will say, then it comes down to Dasya for everybody. Whether somebody is in Madhurya or somebody is in Sakhya or Vatsalya, the baseline of everything is Dasya, because all these states are only to do Dasata. They are not for enjoying, they are only to do service. And to do service you have to take some position, so then they take that. Then it looks like they are parents, they are lovers, they are wives, they are friends, but they are actually servants in that mood. So different moods to serve. And therefore when there is a separation, that mood of service as Dasa itself comes. So then obviously the bhav comes, he is Ishvara. It's not that they know that, oh, he is Ishvara, he is God, nothing like that. So in the material world also it happens like this. We saw that story of King Chitraketu, who did not have a child. Then finally when he got a baby, then the baby was poisoned by the co-wives. And then when he got the news, he was completely struck with grief. Then he came running and he fell at the feet of the dead baby. He is the Samrat, he is an emperor. But he was holding the feet of this dead body, little baby, as if this baby was God to him, because there was so much affection. So the basic heart of love is service. Anukulyani Krishnānusilnam. So even in material world, if there is true love, then there is service. So even for that baby, he was holding his feet and crying and could not understand, could not accept that the baby is dead. So this mood of dasata comes naturally, because that is the basis in love. Love, priti, so pring tarpane dhatu. So it moves to do good to the person whom you love. That's its very heart. That's the gist, that's the essence of Priti or love. So that's what we see here. Therefore he says Mahanurag Mahavarta Evayam. That this is like everything was shaken. Like a whirlpool shakes everything. And if you get caught in the whirlpool, you go down. So therefore come to the base. That is the Dasatva. Ateva mana adi indriyanam pratikshanam eva Krishna rupadi nimagnatva api. So therefore vrittya na vrityasu manaso vritya nasyu Krishna padambujashraya. That is the first thing he says, that the vrittis of our mind, and that includes all the senses, they should take shelter only in the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, nothing else. So pratikshanam eva, at every moment. So tad gunashruti matrene mai sarugahase manogati ravichinna gangavamsa ambudho yatha. So like the continuous flow of Ganga water to the ocean, like that the vritti of the mind flow without any break, without any stoppage. So therefore he says adi indriyanam pratikshanam eva Krishna rupadi nimagnatva api. So Krishna rupa form, his sound, all these senses respectively absorbed in that. Manasa vrittayoho Krishna padambujashraya syuriti rati syat. So the shelter of our vritti should be the lotus feet of Krishna. Means we may have love for his lotus feet. This is only the prarthana. Prarthanayam ling. So ling, syat, ling lakar is used here in the sense of prarthana. Danya sancharino mahaprabalyam gyapayati. So this is informing us about the supreme power of the sanchari bhav called danya. That humility which came in that state of separation. Kincha sakhya vatsalya ujjwal premvatam swabhava evayam. So now he gives the principle. He says that it should be understood that this indeed is the very nature of the devotee who are in the relationship of sakhya, vatsalya or ujjwala. So that is the very nature. So then when you hear all these pranaya, sneha, mana, etc., this is all service, nothing else. These are all avartas, changes, modification, only for giving pleasure to Krishna. So he says this is the very nature, svabhava eva ayam. It is not something which is made up or it is based on some theoretical understanding. They have heard it, so we have to act like that. It's not by training. It just, that's how it works. They cannot avoid it. It's most natural. Yat viraha vaivashyena vishaya alambanasya swasmin audasinya jnanena cha janite mahadanya. So when there is viraha vaivashya, that there is separation and there is no solution for it, there is vivasta, means you have no control over it. Vash means control and vivash means no control. So vishyalambanasya swasmin audasinya jnanena cha, or either there is a separation or the vishyalamban. In love there is ashraya, who is the bhakta, and vishya, who is Krishna. That the vishyalamban, he shows indifference. He cannot show indifference, but you perceive it like that. Audasinya jnanena cha. So many times you perceive other person's behavior, that this person is angry, this person is neglecting me, this person does not care, right? It happens like this, yes. But it may not be true. But you think like that. But it doesn't matter whether it is true or not true, but if you think like this, then you will feel that way, you will act like that. That's how it works. It's not, the important thing is not what the other person actually thinks, but what you are understanding. Your behavior depends on that. So therefore he makes this interesting point that it is not, we will have avashya only, but swasmin audasinya jnanena, that you think that my lover, my whoever it may be, my son in case of Nanda Maharaj, or my friend in case of Sakhas, that he is neglecting us, he is being indifferent. Krishna is never indifferent to his devotees. Ye bhajanti to mam bhaktya maitite suchapyaham. So there is no question of indifference, but it can appear like that. And then they become danya. Danya sanchari comes, the sanchari bhava of humility. So janite mahadanya, and it's not only danya but mahadanya, very intense humility. So then what happens in this state? He says swasvabhava vichutir dasya bhava grahanam. So then they come down from their natural bhav and come to dasya bhav. So the sakhas will also come into the dasya bhav, vatsalya, parents, and ujjwal madhurya. So they all come to the foundation, that is the foundation of bhakti. So that's what is being described in these verses. That's how it is to be seen. Yathayam api Krishne nadyavdhina vishwastam audashinyad eva iti matva. So therefore now Nanda Maharaj, that's how he is feeling. That's why he was thinking that we are not qualified to be his parents. Right? That's what he was saying. And thinking that we are not qualified, therefore he went and he has accepted Vasudeva and Devaki as his parents, because they are better than us, and thus we are left here. So this is how he is thinking in his mind, that we are not anurupa, ananurupa, right? He said that earlier. So now he is thinking, na adyavdhi na vishwastam audasinya devati. He says that till now Krishna does not trust us. Means he does not think that we are qualified parents, and therefore he is being indifferent to us. If you don't trust some person, then you also don't invest your energy in that person, because you don't trust. Why should you? So therefore, thinking like this, he speaks these verses. So he gives more examples like Baldevena prayo mayastu me bhartur ityuktam. So Baldev also spoke when Brahmaji has stolen the calves and cowherd boys, and Krishna has manifested himself into same number of calves and cowherd boys, and Balaram did not know this. But when he saw them running, the cows running to the calves and the cowherd men running and embracing, then he said, oh, this is very unusual. These cows, they are their calves, they see them every day. And why these cowherd boys are now embracing these children as if they have never seen them before? So he says, this is Maya of my master. So he is calling Krishna as my master in that time. because he's thinking, how is that he has done something like this without telling me? Because they are so intimate and they are always together. And then he says that, how is this? So then he realizes that Krishna is like being some sort of indifferent to me. Otherwise they eat together, they sleep together, they play together, they come to the forest together, and then this whole game has happened and he does not know. He says he has put his Maya on me also. So then he says this, Prayo Mayastu me bhartur. Yes. So ityuktam. And then similarly in Rāsa-līlā, then Krishna left and he left along with Radha, and then he left her also, then she also Dasyaste Kirpanayame. So she also calls herself as Dasi. She uses this word. And iti Sri Vrindavaneshwarya. So this is a statement of Sri Vrindavaneshwari, Srimati Radharani. And Kochidapi Sakathan Kinkarinam Grinita iti Sri Gopi Bhir Manso Vrityo Neshwariti Srinandadi. And then in this very chapter the gopis also said, Kochid Sakathan Kinkarinam Grinita, that does he ever talk about us also? The servants, Kinkari means servants. So Gopi is also using the same word. So it is Sri Gopi Bhir, and then Nanda Maharaj in this verse itself, Manso Vrittayo Nashu, Sri Krishna Padambujashraya. So Srinandadihi. So this is not happening because of knowledge of Aishwarya. This is to be understood here. Because this can also happen when you have knowledge about the Aishwarya of Krishna, as it happened to Arjuna when he saw the Virat Rupa, or it happens to Vasudeva and Devaki. Then they also come in the Dasya Bhav. In this particular case, it is not because of the Aishwarya. This is the distinction between Vrajavasis and the devotees outside Vraja. That they become influenced by the Aishwarya Gyan of Krishna, and then they come down to Dasya Bhav. But these Vrajavasis are coming to Dasya Bhav because of the Viraha, because of separation. This is Sanchari Bhav, and not because they know that Krishna is Ishvara. So therefore he says, Natu Sukh Samaye Api Devaki Vasudevabhyam Iva. So he says when they are in happy mood, means they are not in, this happens only in distress. So when they are in happy mood, then they don't become like this, as the case of Vasudeva and Devaki. When they see Krishna, Balaram coming to bow down to them, then they are calling them Jag Prakriti Parameshwara. So Yuvam Nasutau Ityadi, they say you two are not our children, but you are the lords of Prakriti and material elements. So Aishwarya Gyan Janit Swasambandha Tyag Purvakam Kadapi Uktam. So he says this is not described anywhere in relation to the Vrajvasis, that they give up their bhava because of Aishwarya Gyan of Krishna, as happens to Vasudeva and Devaki. So this is a very interesting point which he makes, and to show the contrast between Vraj Bhakti, Vraj Prema and outside devotees. So this is what Uddhava has experienced, and he is still experiencing. He is sitting in the chariot and then he hears these words So he is intelligent, he is educated, he is learned, he knows the Shastra. So he understands from where Nanda Maharaj is speaking. It's not that he did not understand. That's why he was stunned that how much love these people can actually have for him. एवं सभाचितो गोपैः कृष्ण भक्त्या नराधिप उद्धव पुनरागच्छन् मथुरां कृष्ण पालिताम्. So when Uddhava was honored, respected by the cowherd men like this, and they gave various gifts to him, so he returned back to Mathura, which was being protected by Krishna. So punar agachan Mathuram Krishna Palitam Mathuram. Krishna Bhaktya Mahanurag Maya Krishna Palitam. So evam sabhajitai gopaihi Krishna Bhaktya. So he was honored. And what was the thing which was honored? He says Krishna Bhakti, that devotion to Krishna. That's what he was honored, and he came to Mathura, which was Krishna Palitam. So Krishna Palitam ityata eva uddhavena vrajvasam vrajbhumo ati anuraktena api tatra gatam. Because one may ask this question that Uddhava, he left Vraja where he actually had so much love. He said he wants to be born here, so why did he leave? So he says he went to Mathura, which was Krishna Palita. Not go somewhere else, but he went to the place which was protected by Sri Krishna. Samprati Mathura Krishnena palyate Vraja katham na palyate iti upalabdhum eva iti muner ashya. He says that what is the point in saying here Krishna Palita suddenly? So he says that Sukadeva Goswami is also upset with Krishna. Earlier also it happened. He says he doesn't like this. So then he's saying Krishna Palitam Mathuram, that he went to. He says, why is that Krishna is taking care of Mathura and not of Vraj? It is with this intention he is using this word, that he went to Mathura, which is being protected by Krishna. So he says, why is he not protecting Vraj and torturing these poor people here? Krishnaya pranipatyaha bhakti udrekam vrajaukasam vasudevaya ramaya ragye cha upayananyadat. So coming back to Mathura, then he went and met Sri Krishna because he was on a mission. And what did he do? He fell at Krishna's feet. Pranipatya. Tadvidhi pranipatena. So saying pranipatya. So means completely falling on the ground in front of Krishna. Because he wants to tell him that I am so grateful to you that you sent me to Vraja. Why? Bhakti udrekam vrajaukasam. So he saw this bhakti overflowing in Brajvasis, which has never been witnessed by him anywhere. So he's described it to Krishna, as if Krishna does not know. But since this was his experience and something very astonishing, very amazing, So he relates this to Krishna, that how is that you are here and these people love you so much and you are just going around here, and then you send me there to take care of them. He says, I have no qualification to pacify them. I did not know that these people have so much love. If I had known, I would have refused to go. Because he says, it's not possible to pacify them by sending messages. This is the meaning. It says, Bhakti Udrekam Vrajaukasham. That these, not only gopis, but everyone. Vrajaukasham means everyone, including animals, birds, trees, plants. They have so much love for you. And what are you doing here? I cannot understand this. So that is the first line. And then Vasudevaya Ramaya Ragye Chaupayanani Adat. Because he has brought a lot of gifts for different people, so then he gave all the gifts to each person. To Vasudev, to Balram, to king. Who was the king? Ugrasena. And others. So everybody got their gift. Otherwise, sometimes people, they keep the gifts themselves. After all, the coward people are not going to come and ask, did you get my gift? So he faithfully distributed all the gifts. So Vrajauksam Bhakti Udrekam Mathura Aukabhya Sakashadityartha. So the meaning that he described the greatness of bhakti of the residents of Vraja means he described it in comparison, in contrast to those of Mathura. Because he understood. So he says, Bho Prabho Krishna, Tvam Bhakti Vasgo, Bhakti Prapyo, Bhakti Drishya iti Sarva Shastrartha. He says, oh, my master Krishna, I know from Shastra that you are controlled by bhakti. There is nothing else which can control you. Na mam sadhyati yoga, na sankhya dharmodhama. So, swadhyaya tapastyage yatha bhakti mamorjita. So it's only the bhakti which controls him. So he says that you are bhakti vashaga and bhakti prapya, and you are attained only by bhakti and not by anything else. Bhaktiyam ekya grahya. So prapya grahya only by bhakti. And bhakti drishya, and you are seen only by bhakti. Without bhakti no one can see you. Bhaktya drishyate. So story in Mahabharata. So it is Sarva Shastra Artha. He says this is understood from all the Shastra. Tesham cha maya tvadiya sarva bhakti bhyopi sakashat bhakti udroika ekadrishto. He says, I have seen that this Vrajvasis, they have bhakti more than anyone else. Tvadiya sarva bhakti bhyopi sakashat. From all the devotees, various types of devotees, they have bhakti more than anyone else. This is what I have witnessed there. He says, how is their bhakti? He says that Sweti krita khila janam virahena tavadhuna Gokulam Krishna Devarshe Sweta Deepa Brahmam Dadhe. So he is giving example. He says that these people, they are in so much separation from you that they all have turned white out of separation. And they have become so white that Narada Rishi mistook Vraj for Swetadvipa. It's supposed to be white in color. So he says that even Narada got confused. Is this Vraj or is this Svetadvipa? So he says, what more can I say about these people's love for you? So tvat pitur nandasya tu mahanurag bhramiriyam tvaya eva abodhum sakya. And says that the intensity of love which your father Nanda Maharaj has for you, and this commotion caused by that love in his mind, only you can understand it. I cannot understand that how he has so much love and then acts in this way. Because he said, and then he recited these two slokas to Krishna. Manso vritte anesu Krishna padam bhajashre. So imagine how Krishna would have felt if he hears this, that his father is speaking like this. So Krishna started crying like a child, unconsolably. He could not stop. So he says, iti padyadvayam. And about your mother, I cannot even say what is in his heart. He says she could not speak one word. She was in such a shock when she heard that you have not returned, and she has not gotten rid of that shock. Generally, people say time heals, but he says nothing has changed for her. She is just in that state of shock. And she did not speak one word, because we saw that Nanda Maharaj spoke, but Mother Yashoda was there, but she did not speak. She was only crying. So tvan mata tu gadgad ruddha kanthi naiv kimapi vaktum shashake. He says your mother, she had the choked voice, her throat was choked, and she could not utter even one word. So much grief she is facing. So then he says, Srutva Krishno vigalita dharyo madhe samam api uchchaihi rurodha. He says when Krishna heard this, he lost his patience. Krishna is supposed to be Dhir Purusha, this, that, big hero, but when he heard these statements from Uddhava, then he lost his fortitude, completely melted, and he started crying very loudly. So samamapi chai, even when Uddhava was speaking, he did not listen to him completely. When he heard even this much, he had more to say. He just cried and cried and cried. So then he was not able to tell him anything about the gopis. This itself was enough. And then he did not stop. So then Uddhava stopped. He says, if I don't stop, I don't know what will happen to him. So then he says, Tat prayashinam prema vadvanalastu rajanyam kutrachid rahasya eva uddhava udghatya darshita. Then about the message and the state of the gopis, which was just like the fire, like forest fire of love. So he spoke to Krishna in lonely place and explained to him. Tat prayasi shromanestu divyonmada chitra jalpadi dingmatrameva aviskritam. And as far as Srimati Radharani is concerned, he was not able to tell him everything. He just gave a hint of the Chitrajalpa, that divine madness which he was experiencing. And when Krishna heard that, then whole night he suffered in separation, was like his burning in separation. Yad avdharya Krishnastam ratrim sarvam jajvalayeve. So whole night he burned completely in separation and could not be consoled by anybody. So this is the end of chapter 47. Uddhava's message to gopis and then back to Mathura and relating everything to Krishna. So iti sarartha darshinyam harshinyam bhakta chetasam sapta chattvarinshako dasmo jani sangataha. So this is the end of commentary Sarartha Darshini, which gives happiness to the heart of devotees and which has been written in the association of devotees. So any question on this? Otherwise we will read next. Okay, Tanmaji. You can make it a little cooler. These people will faint here otherwise. Yes. If no one else, Jessica is going to faint.
I'm happy fainting. Just don't get sick.
Amar already went back. Yes, Tanmaji.
Sorry, this reminded me of another episode that you spoke on, maybe this year or last year, where you explained, or Chakravarti Patra explained that whenever the occasion arises for Nanda Baba or Yashoda to know Bhagavan, that Krishna is Bhagavan, then their prema, by the worship, the strength of the prema, that knowledge can become suppressed. And so here we see that they express a sentiment in which they want to serve his feet, indicating perhaps that they have the sense that he is somebody great, if not Ishvara. And you explained that that's because the Dasa part, Dasa is there in everybody, and everybody's love. And that their love becomes downgraded in the sense to that Dasa form. So I was thinking, does this Dasa please Bhagavan? Because the purpose of prema is to please or do service to Bhagavan. So I assume that that's the reason why it's going down.
No, it's not going down or anything like this, but their mood changes. It's not that their love is decreasing. But that's why he is calling it as a sanchari bhav. So it comes danya, and danya means this only. It also happens when gopis and then Krishna leaves and they are in man and he tries to come pacify them, they don't listen, then he goes away, then they cry. So their mood changes. These are sancharis, their bhav remains whatever is sthai bhav. But what I am saying is that because the essence of every bhav is service, so therefore they come more explicit in that. When you are parent, then it doesn't look like that. You have that mood to do service to them. But now in separation it becomes more obvious. And it is not because they think that he is great and that's why we have to be like this. It's only because of their love. That's why he was contrasting it with Vasudeva and Devaki. They think that he is Ishvara, therefore we cannot allow him to touch our feet. But earlier we said that Nanda Maharaj will give his own remnants to Krishna, and even though he has seen Krishna doing so many miracles, Vasudeva and Devaki did not see anything. But these people have seen and experienced.
Maharaj, and he caught hold of the feet of the dead baby. So this is not a sentiment that's only present in Preeti or Prema, the transcendental Preeti, but it seems like also in ordinary affairs. And I'm unfortunately not able to relate to it. But even though I'm a parent, so that's what I was trying to ask. Is that even Chitraketu is falling at the feet of his baby, lamenting, it's kind of difficult.
Yeah, because we do not understand what prema is. We have some vague idea about it. When you actually understand what prema is, and this is what the book is keep on saying again and again, because this sounds so foreign to us, and all these stories are being told to make this point of prema only. There is no other message here. Prema is the prayojana. All these stories this way, that way, to make us understand that the essence is to do service. So when prema is there, this doing service is natural. It comes from the heart like that. Even in material relationship it is like that. That's why you may be the Prime Minister of the country, but if you have a small child, he sits on your head, or you become the horse and he's jumping on your back, you enjoy it. It's not that he has become Ishvara or anything like that. And parents call their children as Raja Beta, Rani Beti, right? In India at least, I don't know in the West, but in India you say Raja Beta means my king, my son is king, my daughter is queen. Call like that. Moyni.
Did I understand correct that Yashoda Maya was constantly in a condition of shock and she did not come out of the shock during the whole time when Uddhava was there?
Yes.
So my question is did gopis also remain constantly in a Divya or it was a short time and then he could again talk to them normally?
Well, they are not all the time in Divya Unmad, they are also doing their duties.
Okay, so only from all the bridge passes, only Yashoda was constantly in a shock. And all other were...
It cannot be said like that, but at least commentators said like that. If you remember, when Uddhava came, they said that the house was not clean, the kitchen was not clean, the food was prepared by the neighbors and they brought and fed. Remember that?
Yeah.
So if the house is not clean, that means what? She was in shock all this time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Ladili.
So, from what you've just explained, does it work the same for Krishna? Because is it the same for Krishna? Because you said he was crying, but then how can he continue, performing his duty in Mathura? So he will continue because he's doing his duty, so he will, how is it possible?
Well, these people were also doing their duties. I just said that gopis were also seen doing things of their homework, whatever household chores. But inside that burning grief, separation mood that was there. So Krishna also behaved like that. Who else is there? Sandeep.
My question was that when he is comparing with Shri, I don't understand that people that why there separation. Normally we say कि उनका रंग पीला पड़ गया. So I'm not able to understand this. comparison.
Sometimes उसे पीला पड़ गया, sometimes उसे सफेद हो गया. As if there is no blood in the body. It's also there that his face was white. Okay. Point is to show the intensity of the separation. You have to understand that in Sahitya they describe like that. Not that Narada Muni actually got confused by this, just to show the intensity of love. Like they say that this king's fame has spread all around the planet, that now there is no need of moon at night because the fame is so bright that it's light all the time and people are disturbed because they cannot fall asleep. And the birds, they lose track of the time because there is a biological clock which goes by day and night, but they get confused now when it is day and when it is night, like on the North Pole. So there are descriptions like that. Now this is not real, just to show how famous the person is. That's the point. All types of, you have to read Sahitya, then you will see how poets make all kinds of slokas. So ordinary person cannot think like that, but they have creative mind and they make these things up to express. Like you see in the movies also. I mean, in the modern movies, don't you see that some scene they have to show? So they make up the scene like this music or some, situation is created. It's not that it happens like this in real life. Right? Special effects they bring out with sound and colors and lights. So, but it doesn't happen like that. It's same thing here. There it is visible, here it is described like that. Because this is Shravya Kavya. There are two types of Kavya, Shravya Kavya and Drishya Kavya. So that which is depicted and you see it, and that which you hear. So here the Shravya, they have to put it so that we can understand by hearing and imagine. Okay. So we'll stop here. We'll start the next chapter tomorrow. Kubja is coming.